Have you ever stopped to consider whether what you call reality is really as it seems? Perhaps what you see, feel, and experience is a projection of something much deeper, something that is happening inside you but is reflected in the world around you in subtle and often imperceptible ways. What you see, the experiences you go through, are not events that just happen randomly or by mere chance. There is something deeper at play, something that, when understood, reveals the true power each of us has over the world around us. Think of the universe as a mirror, reflecting back everything you project from within. Everything you think, feel, and believe is not locked inside your inner world. On the contrary, these inner energies find ways to manifest and express themselves in your daily life, shaping situations, encounters, and even the challenges you face. Wouldn't it be intriguing if you could understand exactly how this works? And more importantly, learn how to use this knowledge to transform your reality. What few people realize is that we are often shaping our experiences without even knowing it. Thoughts we let flow freely, emotions we ignore or repress, and beliefs we never question gradually create the framework of our lives. And the most impressive thing about all of this is that, even when we're not aware of it, the creation continues. This is exactly what we begin to unravel when we understand the true nature of reality and the impact our internal states have on the world around us. Think about it. What are you creating right now without realizing it? If the reality around you is a reflection, what does it tell you about what's happening inside of you? There is a law, a universal concept that governs this relationship between what we carry within and what we experience externally. And by understanding this law, you unlock the power to shape your reality in a conscious, intentional, and profound way. So today, we will dive into ancient wisdom that is incredibly powerful, a universal law that carries with it extraordinary power. This universal law shows that the world you see is a faithful mirror of who you are on the inside. Today will be a journey of understanding and transformation, where the veil between what you think is real and what you can create will be lifted, and it will lead you to discover the true nature of reality. Over time, sages and mystics from various traditions have observed a universal truth that permeates all of existence. What happens within us inevitably reflects in the world around us. This wisdom was consolidated in the ancient Hermetic teachings, where the law of correspondence emerges as one of the fundamental principles. This principle is summed up in the phrase, "As above, so below, as within, so without." But what does this phrase really mean? The law of correspondence teaches us that there is a deep mirroring relationship between the inner world and the outer world. It suggests that everything we experience externally, the situations, circumstances, and people we interact with, is somehow connected to our internal state. Our beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and attitudes, even if unconscious, actively influence the reality we perceive. In Hermeticism, understanding this law is seen as a key to deciphering the mysteries of the universe. Hermes Trismegistus, who influenced Western esoteric thought, asserted that everything in the universe is interconnected by similar patterns. What happens in the microcosm, that is, within us, is reflected in the macrocosm, the external world we experience. This means that every thought, every emotion, every belief we hold inside creates a wave of influence that shapes the situations and people we encounter. Many of us believe we are merely passive recipients of what happens around us. However, the law of correspondence challenges us to rethink this view. It makes us realize that we are active participants in this process, not mere spectators. And when we understand this principle, the perception that we have the ability to shape reality in our favor begins to take shape. Unlike a perceived reality, where everything seems to happen without reason or without our control, The reality shaped by the law of correspondence is one that is directly influenced by the internal energies we carry. Limiting beliefs can create external barriers, while thoughts of abundance can open doors that once seemed closed. The key to understanding this law lies in the perception that the external world is, in fact, a kind of mirror, reflecting back what is inside of us. It's not just about reacting to what the world offers us, but about realizing how our internal attitudes, often unconscious, are creating these circumstances. The life we are living now, no matter how chaotic or harmonious it may seem, is a faithful reflection of our beliefs and emotional states. This is where the practical application of this knowledge begins to emerge, as we connect this wisdom to the functioning of the three planes of existence: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. First, on the physical plane, we can observe the direct effect of our daily actions on the reality we build. Our choices, habits, and even small daily gestures shape the world around us. Imagine the human body as the fertile soil of a garden. The actions you take, whether it's taking care of your health, maintaining an exercise routine, or eating in a balanced way, are like seeds planted in this soil. Over time, these actions create strong roots, allowing your mind and spirit to flourish in a healthy way. The reverse is also true. Neglecting these physical care actions generates a negative reflection that extends beyond the body, affecting mental and spiritual balance. For example, when we take good care of our physical health, we immediately feel the reflection in our mental clarity. A well-nourished and constantly active body tends to generate a calmer, more lucid and centered mind. This physical effect, in turn, reverberates beyond the body, influencing how we perceive life and connect with the world around us. Harmony starts in the physical, but it never ends there. Just as taking care of a plant is not just about watering it, but also ensuring the health of its roots, taking care of the body directly reflects a more balanced external reality. On the mental plane, the law of correspondence reveals one of its most remarkable effects. Our thoughts act as lenses through which we see the world, and it is this perception that determines how we interpret and react to situations. Imagine your mind as a screen where you project the movie of your life. If your thoughts are constantly focused on lack, difficulties, or limitations, this will be the narrative you create and see in the external world. On the other hand, thoughts that vibrate in tune with abundance and possibilities begin to shape a more expansive reality, full of opportunities. The law of correspondence teaches that our mental patterns are not just reflections of internal beliefs. They become filters that shape what is relevant to us in the external world. What you choose to focus on inevitably grows in your perception. This phenomenon is present in the way that when you look for something specific, you start to notice it everywhere. This is because our thoughts train the mind to identify what is in alignment with our internal focus. In other words, what we think about frequently begins to manifest tangibly around us. And then we come to the spiritual plane, where the law of correspondence operates in an even more subtle but equally powerful way. What we generally call energy frequency is actually the emotional and spiritual vibration that we carry within us. These vibrations resonate in the universe and attract people, situations, and experiences that are on the same wavelength. Just as a radio station tunes into frequencies within its range, our spiritual frequency attracts what is in harmony with it. If our vibration is constantly in a state of fear, lack, or frustration, this is what life will return to us. But when we raise our frequency to states of gratitude, love, and purpose, we begin to attract people and opportunities that mirror these qualities. This spiritual plane is where the deepest connections occur, not only between people, but also between us and the universe as a whole. The resonance we emit connects us with greater forces, and it is in this vibrational field that we begin to perceive how seemingly random events in our lives are, in fact, being shaped by the energy we are emitting. We attract what reflects our spiritual essence, whether through moments of synchronicity or in the relationships we cultivate. Everything is a faithful reflection of what vibrates within us. By integrating these three planes of existence, the physical, mental, and spiritual, the law of correspondence manifests in its totality, showing how these levels are interconnected. A physical action can elevate our thoughts, a mental pattern can influence our energetic frequency, and a spiritual vibration can shape events in our external world. This cycle of interconnections reveals the true depth of the law. It does not operate in isolation, but in a continuous synergy between the different aspects of our existence. The reality you live in now is the result of this dynamic between body, mind, and spirit. And as this understanding deepens, you begin to see how small changes in one of these planes can generate significant transformations throughout your entire life. Reality, as we have learned, reflects what is inside of us, and this dynamic can be clearly observed in specific examples that show us the power of this law. Each aspect of our existence, whether on the physical, mental, or spiritual plane, responds to this correspondence in a subtle yet intense way. On the physical plane, one of the most powerful practices that exemplifies the law of correspondence is meditation. At first, it may seem like a simple act, sitting in silence and observing the breath, but the effects of this practice go far beyond the surface. When we sit to meditate, we are performing a physical action that begins to directly shape our mental and spiritual patterns. Consistency in meditation creates new neural connections in the brain. These connections are like new pathways that facilitate mental clarity and calm. The brain reorganizes and strengthens areas related to mindfulness and emotional well-being. Over time, this effect extends beyond the mind. By practicing meditation daily, we begin to experience an elevation in our energetic frequency. What was once a turbulent mind, filled with distractions, transforms into a more focused state, more aligned with peace and gratitude. This change in internal frequency on the spiritual plane reflects in the external world. Situations that once caused anxiety or stress begin to be seen with greater serenity. The simple physical act of meditating has the power to transform not only the mental state, but also to attract experiences and people who resonate with this higher energy. Now, let's observe the mental plane. Thoughts of lack are one of the clearest examples of how the law of correspondence operates in our lives. When someone is trapped in a mental cycle of lack of resources, lack of opportunities, lack of love, this pattern creates a filter through which that person views the world. Everything around seems to reinforce this belief. Opportunities that could be present go unnoticed, and situations that feed the feeling of insufficiency seem to repeat. In this state, the external reality faithfully corresponds to the internal state of lack. However, when a mental shift occurs, when a person consciously decides to focus on thoughts of abundance, the entire scenario changes, not because the external circumstances have immediately changed, but because the internal perception has shifted. Now, this person begins to notice opportunities that were once invisible. Doors that seemed closed now appear accessible. Connections with people and situations vibrating in this energy of abundance become more frequent, and life, once restrictive, begins to expand. On the spiritual plane, correspondence manifests even more deeply. Vibrating in negative frequencies, such as fear, anger, or resentment, creates a resonance that attracts more of these energies into a person's life. It's like tuning into a radio. If we are tuned into a low frequency, we only hear and perceive sounds that correspond to that vibration. Likewise, people vibrating in this state begin to notice more conflict, challenges, and negativity around them. Interactions with the world are marked by frustration, and the external reality responds to this vibrational field, reflecting back what is being emitted internally. On the other hand, when someone consciously decides to cultivate higher frequencies, such as gratitude and love, the reflection in the external world becomes evident. The practice of gratitude, for instance, raises personal vibration to a state of completeness. When we feel gratitude, we are telling the universe that we already possess what we need. This state of inner abundance attracts experiences and people that resonate with this same frequency. Situations that would have been perceived as negative are now viewed in a different light, with more understanding and acceptance. And as this higher vibration strengthens, the external reality begins to mirror this new state, bringing more opportunities, relationships, and events aligned with this positive energy. So the life we experience is the direct result of what we vibrate on each of these planes. And it is this interconnection between the physical, mental, and spiritual that allows us to understand how the impact of small internal changes can generate powerful transformations. This deeper understanding of the dynamics between the planes also helps us see how each of us has the power to transform our reality on multiple levels. As we integrate this wisdom, we can see how all actions and internal states connect, creating a continuous cycle of creation and reflection. The truth is that we are responsible for the reality that surrounds us, but there is a central element that keeps this cycle running consciously and intentionally: internal awareness. So being aware of our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs is the first step towards shaping reality in alignment with what we really want. Have you ever wondered how many of your thoughts and emotions go unnoticed throughout your day? The truth is, most of the time we operate on autopilot, reacting to external stimuli without realizing that these internal states are exactly what is building the reality around us. And what does that teach us? That the path to transforming what we see in the world starts within. This is where the power of self-responsibility comes into play. Everything that happens outside starts within. This principle is not just an abstract idea. It is the key to accessing control over our own lives. When we understand that our external experiences are mirrors of what we are vibrating internally, we begin to recognize the power we have to change the course of our journey. This doesn't mean that all circumstances will be under our control, but it means that the way we react to them and what we attract as a consequence is directly related to our internal awareness. However, this responsibility brings with it the need for constant monitoring, because we cannot simply wish to change our reality without actively observing what we are nurturing in our inner world. Automatic thoughts and emotions that we ignore often sabotage our efforts, keeping us from the reality we want to create. So, the true power of transformation comes from the practice of cultivating internal awareness. But how can we effectively practice this monitoring? One of the most powerful tools is meditation. When we meditate, we learn to distance ourselves from the thoughts that arise and simply observe them without getting involved or being dominated by them. This practice helps us recognize internal patterns that often go unnoticed and gives us the clarity needed to adjust these patterns according to the results we want to see in the external world. Meditating, even for just a few minutes a day, is like cleaning the internal mirror, allowing us to see more clearly what is really happening inside us. Another effective practice is thought journaling. Keeping a journal or writing down the thoughts that arise during the day can be a powerful way to monitor our internal state. When we write, we bring to the surface beliefs and emotions that may be repeating unconsciously. By recording these thoughts, we gain a clearer perspective of what we are feeding into our minds and consequently into the external world. This gives us the opportunity to question these beliefs and redirect them to something more constructive. The key to maintaining conscious monitoring is focusing on continuous action and personal control. It's not about an exercise in perfection, but about daily practice. When we take responsibility for our internal states, we become capable of creating the life we desire, step by step. Small changes in how we think and react have a cumulative effect, shaping the world around us in ways that often surprise even the most skeptical. The awakening of internal awareness is the beginning of a journey of transformation. Every time we recognize a negative mental pattern or an emotion that doesn't serve us, we have the opportunity to transform it. And as we move forward in this process, our external reality begins to reflect this new state of being. The power lies in the small daily actions, the moment we decide to meditate, the instant we write down our thoughts, or the simple act of being grateful for what we already have. And when we become aware of our inner world, we discover that we are, in fact, shaping what is yet to come. And this leads us to realize that by cultivating this awareness, we are, in practice, creating the foundations for a future more aligned with our true desires and intentions. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with others so they can benefit from this message. And don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thanks again for watching and for joining me. Take care and see you soon.